Good morning, budgeting friends. Welcome back to Work Right Planner. On this channel, we talk about my budgeting journey as I learn about finance and try to pay off 6 figures of overall debt, including my house. So welcome. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back and joining me today. I appreciate you more than you know. And if you're new here, pull up a seat and stay a while. Okay, so today we're going to talk about my monthly budget for March. And it's going to be pretty routine, but I thought this month I would explain why I go through each step. So step 1, we're going to create the monthly budget. So this is our bird's eye view of where we want our money to go during the month. So we're going to fill in the budgeted column, and that's just our plan for what we want our money to do. So let's jump in it. Okay. In terms of income from my state job, I'm going to have $2,458. Work Right Planner is not overly active at the moment, so I'm not going to budget anything there. And I have not yet filed my taxes, and I'm not aware of anything else that might be coming this month. So that's going to be nothing. So $2,458 is what I have to work with. Okay, let's get to the bills. Okay, our fixed expenses are things that don't change from month to month. These are the bills that you have to pay, more or less. So my accident insurance, we're going to budget $24. Bank fee is going to be $3. Canva is $13. I do use that for Work Right Planner. Eventually, I hope that money will come from there, but it's not there right now. Car insurance is $78. Car wash is $25. My cell phone is $75. Electric is $101. HP Instant Ink is $13. Hulu is $5. Internet will be $30. My natural gas, we're going to budget $16. Now, some of these, I'm only budgeting my part. So the electric, just my part. The natural gas, just my part. Internet, just my part. Because I do live with my fiance, and we do not split the bills 50-50. Number one, because I find that to be unfair, and until you're married, my life experience says don't pay for a man to live with you. Okay, so the way that we do this is every month we look at what my income is, and his fluctuates. So our percentages change every month, but that's why these numbers are everywhere. If you have been with me for a while, that's why they're all over the place. But whatever my percentage of the income is that month, that's the percentage I pay toward the bills that we mutually pay for. So my part of Netflix is $5. OnStar is $13. That comes in handy when the weather is bad. Sirius XM, I'm budgeting $8. Storage buildings is $75. It's starting to get warm now. I'm hoping to tackle these so that I don't have to pay for them anymore. iCloud is $1, and Google Storage is $2. When you add all of this up, we get $487. And when you take $487 from the $2,458 of the income that we have $1,971 left. And that's going to carry us over to the variable expenses. For beauty, I'm not budgeting anything. Clothing is going to get $11. Eat out will get $106. I'm not getting anything because I've got goals, and I don't typically budget money for myself. If I can contribute money to all of my goals that keeps me on track toward my goals, and I've got more than $100 left, then I'll budget myself $25 as I'm figuring out what to do with that $100+ that's left in the budget. Outside of that, I don't ever budget money for myself. Gas and oil is $150. Groceries, my share of the groceries for the month is $176. Household, gonna be $10. Medical is $16. Miscellaneous is $18. Overspent is $36. Now, my overspent category is if we happen to go over our budget, I let money roll from month to month instead of pulling it out and putting it elsewhere, because I put it into these categories because I know I'm eventually going to spend it in these categories. So I don't see the sense in pulling it out and creating a hardship for myself later when I actually need that money. So I just do it a little bit at a time, and then when I need it, it's there. If I happen to go over, and this one right here is usually the culprit, but if we happen to go over in a category, I will put money into overspent the next month so that we can reimburse that category, bring it back to what it should be, so that the money we're putting in there is the money we actually have, instead of robbing Peter to pay Paul all the time within that category. I hope that makes sense. Okay, pet care is getting $27. Toiletries is getting $8. When you add all of these together, you get $558. And when you take $558 from the 1971, you get $1,413. So we have covered everything except for the debt that we would normally need every month. So we're going to flip over and discuss the sinking funds, what goes in the savings account, and the debt. Okay, you guys, I've brought you in as far as I can to catch all of the sinking funds. I know I have a lot, but I really think that sinking funds are the key to making your budget work, and that's why we have so many. These things are important to us. We want to make sure that we have something going toward them. They don't all get funded every month, but we know that eventually we're going to spend on these things. And I started out with just a few, and over time I have learned that, hey, we keep having to pull miscellaneous money for this category. We need to add a sinking fund for that. That way the money is there and we're not scrambling for it to pull it out of our zero-based budget. So that's why all of these are there. Now, when I'm actually in Excel building my budget, I do my fixed bills, my variable expenses, and then my debt, because I want to make sure that the debt is covered. And then I move on to what we're actually putting toward our goals. I know that's backwards from what a lot of people do, but the truth is, I recognize that my credit score is important and I owe the bill. So it doesn't matter whether I have more month than money. These have to be paid. They're a bill just like the fixed bill, and they have to be paid because they can sue me and take the money from my check. So I might as well arrange it so that I can give it to them. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I do it in that order in Excel. But when we're doing it here, I've already done those calculations, and this is just, it fits better this way. So anyway, that's why this is this way. Let's get to anniversary. So it's gonna get $5. Appliances gets $8. The litter robot is getting $18. Bereavement gets $9. Christmas is getting $53. Christ the King picnic is gonna get $9. Date night is gonna get $4. Easter gets $2. Father's Day gets $9. Furniture gets $8. We're not budgeting anything for gifts because that one's full right now. Graduation, we're putting in $8. And also on these, some of these, the amounts are so small because we both contribute. Like the graduation fund, we're both contributing to. Anniversary, we're both contributing to. So we have a set amount every month that we want to go in those, and we also divide those according to the percentages of income. That way it doesn't feel like just one person is saving for these things, if you get what I'm saying. Okay, the graduation trip, I'm putting aside $120 for my part. Grandkids is $8. Halloween, $5. Home improvement is getting $8. This is a good month, you guys. When I get to fill in this many of the sinking funds, it's a real good month because normally there's a bunch of zeros. Honeymoon is going to get $6. July 4th is going to get $5. Kids is going to get $8. Lawn care is going to get $9. Lipedema will get $43. Mother's Day is going to get $17. New car, new computer, new house, they're not getting anything. Those are things that I know we're going to need at some point, but we very rarely get to budget for. And it usually only gets money when the savings challenges, we're done. But eventually we're going to be able to put money in there. New Year's Eve is going to get $1. Planner will get $7. Thanksgiving's going to get $1. Valentine's Day is $3. So right now we're saving for Valentine's Day 2025 because Valentine's Day was last month. Wedding is going to be $68. So we're going to add all of this together. We get $442, and we're going to take that $442 from the $1,413 that we had left after the variable expenses, and that leaves us with $971. So we're going to move over to the debt. Let me squeeze you in. Okay, that's much better. Capital One, again, we're not budgeting anything for that. That one, the balance is $0. It should stay $0. You know how you automatically subscribe to certain things and the payment just kind of shows up one day, you've forgotten about it? As long as we don't have any of that stuff show up, this should be okay. But we're not budgeting toward it. If something does show up, we'll pay for it out of the debt snowball payment that we're applying this month. Okay, so Chevy is $216. Discover is $132. Kia is $175. That's a student loan, by the way. Kia vehicle is $62. Lowe's and Menards are also paid off. So we're doing the same thing with them that we're doing with Capital One. And this is just my reminder to go in and look at those every month to make sure that there's not a balance on on them. You might ask, why have you not shut the cards down? Because cards with no balance increase your credit score. Not that I intend to use it, but like you saw in the sinking funds, eventually I plan to get a different house. So my credit score, while I don't want to carry debt, my credit score is still very, very important. So that's why those are still out there. The mortgage, my share of that this month is $205. Our payment did go up this year, which is unfortunate. I have a fixed rate mortgage, but y'all, the insurance and the taxes with all this inflation is insane. Okay, so Murray State, I'm never gonna owe on the balance I was paying ever again, but my boss wants me to take classes to become an engineer, and so I'm just going to leave that in the budget in case I ever have to budget for it. Okay, Victoria's Secret does not have a balance on it. Wells Fargo is $31, and Debt Snowball is $36, but hopefully we'll come up with some money somewhere. All of this together adds up to $857, and when you take $857 from the $971 that we had left after the sinking funds, you have $114 left. So let's look at what's going into my savings account. Okay. So Amazon Prime is going to get $13. Birthdays will get $15. Car maintenance is going to get $38. My Coco, I don't budget for. I have a $500 limit that I like to keep in the savings account, but my flexible spending account, we found out like, I don't know, a year ago, will reimburse me for buying that because it's a required supplement as a result of my gastric bypass. So what I do is I use that money to buy it, and then I reimburse myself, or to put a balance on a card, I might use one of the credit cards to buy it and then pay it off before any interest hits because they reimburse me for it. So, but my preference is to use the $500 that's in here, pay for it and reimburse myself, and then I don't have the risk. Okay, so license and taxes, $17. Microsoft 365 is going to get $7. Murphy, we don't budget for right now because we've got more than our $1,000 in there. Sam's membership is going to get $4. For those who don't know, Murphy is my emergency fund. It is Murphy insurance, Murphy's law. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. That's the money for that. Vacation is $20. We're not actually saving for a vacation, by the way. I'll explain that envelope when we do that cash stuffing, or I usually talk about that. I don't budget towards savings challenges right out the gate. I don't budget toward the buffer, and I don't have any money going toward Work-Right Planner this month. So when you add all of this together, we get $114, which gives me a zero-based budget. We'll be on to step 2 next. Give me just a second. Step 2 is the variable income budget. This thing is marvelous because this is where you put anything that you had to take out of your budget. This month, I have not had to do that, so you're not going to get the example, but you would list anything that you had to remove and how much you were short. And if you end up with overtime, bonuses, income taxes maybe, any sort of extra income, you would list that up here and apply it to where you needed it for this month before you do anything else with it. That way, anything that you actually needed is covered. It's a beautiful part of your overall viewpoint of your budget. Okay, let's look at step 3. Step 3 is the excess income plan. Now, this is my secret sauce to my bird's eye view of my budget. I firmly believe that making a plan for all of your money is the key to success with your budget. But sometimes you have money show up that you didn't plan for. It could be a bonus. It could be, I don't know, you hit the lottery. I don't know. Not that we ain't exactly playing the lottery very much, but you get what I'm saying. You buy a scratch off, you hit it for $200. What are you going to do with that $200? Most of the time, if you don't have a plan for it, you're going to just blow the $200. You don't want to do that. So what I do is I have a plan for my money before the month ever begins. So what happens is if I end up with extra money, all of the change goes to the buffer. The rest of the money goes to that variable income plan that we just looked at. Of course, this month there's nothing in there. So we would just move on to the next thing. If I have more than $100, then I get to budget myself $25. If I have less than $100, then I get nothing. And then it's going to go over here. And this is where I don't have to use use 6 categories. I just made 6 boxes so that in case I get, a wild hair, I can do that. But I'm going to assign categories and percentages to where I want my money to go most. So for the month of March, I can't even write, y'all. Look at that. That's a mess. Okay. And I didn't have whiteout or I would have fixed it. The categories for the month of March are debt, lipedema, however you want to say that, graduation trip, savings challenges, and eating out. These are less of a priority than these. Debt is my number 1 priority. Lipedema is coming. Graduation trip is coming. So what I have decided, debt's going to get 30%, lipedema is going to get 30%, graduation trip's going to get 15%, savings challenges are going to get 15%, and eating out is going to get 10%. So if I end up with overtime, bonuses, income taxes, blah, blah, whatever, well, not so much income taxes because I make their own plan, but you could do it that way. Just any sort of surprise money. I'm going to document it down here and I'm going to apply these rules to it and make my plan for where the extra money is going to go. Now for step 4. Okay, this is our last step in creating a monthly budget that is going to make sure that your money goes where you want it to go. It's the most comprehensive way to do this. It's the paycheck budget. So our monthly budget gave us the bird's eye view of how we're going to do this. The paycheck budget is looking at how much our paycheck is supposed to be, and we're going to assign the totals from our monthly budget to our paychecks so that when the paycheck comes, we don't get all excited and we're like, ooh, we've got money to spend. We know where the money's supposed to go. We apply it there and spend it within our little mini budgets, I guess, the little buckets of money. But we know what's supposed to go where. We know that the bills that are supposed to be paid get paid, and that we have our money for groceries. We can buy our toilet paper. You get what I'm saying? The money is there. Okay, so my first paycheck is going to be March 15th, and I estimate it to be $1,228. And out of that, my fixed bills are what I always pay first. The bank fee is $3. Car insurance is $78. Cell phone is $75. Electric is going to be $101. Internet is going to be $30. And OnStar is $13. When you add all of those up, that is $300. And if you take $300 from the $1,228, then you've got $928 going into the variable expenses. So for eating out, budgeting $53. Now keep in mind, I get paid semi-monthly, so this is half the month. Gas and oil is $75. Groceries is $88. And then I'm just going to take that whole $36 for overspent out of this paycheck because this money is waiting to be reimbursed from last month. So it's coming out of this first paycheck. Okay, so you add all of this together, you get $252. And when you subtract $252 from $928, you get $676. Going into debt and savings is in this last column, and it's just because there's, we need room. And you never know. If I end up with a crazy amount of money on this paycheck, I get a raise or whatever, I may have to add categories, which is why there's extra room here. Okay, so anniversary gets 5. Little robot is going to get 18. Bereavement will get 9. Easter is 2. Father's Day is 9. Furniture and graduation are both 8. Graduation trip is getting 31. Amazon Prime is getting 13. Let's just transpose that. Birthdays is going to get 15. Car maintenance is 38. Microsoft 365 is 7. Sam's membership is 4. Vacation is 20. Chevy is $216. Kia is $175. Kia 62. And then the debt snowball 36. When you add all of that together, you get the $676, which leaves us with a zero-based paycheck, meaning we've given every dollar a name. That doesn't mean we're spending all of this money. It doesn't mean that the bank account's going to be zero, but we have a plan for every dollar and we work the plan. Okay, so my last paycheck for the month comes in on the 29th and I am estimated $1,230. So going to the fixed expenses, my accident insurance is $24. Canva is $13. Car wash is $25. HP Instant Ink is $13. Hulu is $5. The natural gas is going to be $16. Netflix is $5. Sirius XM is $8. Storage $75. iCloud is $1. And Google storage is $2. When you add all of that together, you get 187. And when you subtract 187 from 1,230, you get 1,043 as we go into the variable expense. So clothing is 11, eat out is 53, gas is going to get the other half, that's 75, groceries gets the other half, that's 88, household is going to be 10, medical is going to be 16, miscellaneous is 18, pet is 27, and toiletries is 8. When you add all of those up, that gives you $306 in this category. You take that 306 from 1,043 and you get 737. That's a lot of money over here in the debt and savings, but keep in mind, we have some rather large debt payments that come out of this paycheck. So while you get excited sometimes because you're like, ooh, savings category, yes, but we're not saving that much. Okay, so appliances gets 8, Christmas is getting 53, Christ the King picnic is getting 9, date night is getting 4, graduation trip is getting 89, grandkids gets 8, Halloween is getting 5, home improvement is getting 8, honeymoon gets 6, July 4th is getting 5, kids is getting 8, lawn gets 9, lipedema is 43, Mother's Day is getting 17, New Year's Eve gets 1, planner gets 7, Thanksgiving gets 1, Valentine gets 3, wedding is 68, license and taxes gets 17, discover is getting 132, mortgage is 205, and Wells Fargo is getting 31. When you add all of this together, you get the 737. 737 from 737 is 0. So we've got a plan for every penny that comes from this paycheck. Okay, everybody, so that's it. That is the magic of how to make a budget that's going to work for you. You got to make the monthly budget and get your bird's eye view. You've got to have a reminder to go back and pay things that you had to take out of the budget so that you can stay on track towards your goals. You have to have a plan for money that comes in that's random, and you have to break your monthly budget into your paychecks so that you don't go spend your money and throw a wrench in your plan. And that's it. So thank you so much for joining me to the end. My next video will be the March 15th paycheck budget, where we actually make a plan for where that money is going to go. So be sure to join me for that one. In the meantime, if you're still in the mood to watch, YouTube has put the best match for you on the screen. I will see you all next time. Have a great couple days, everyone. Bye.